All right. We are rocking the live. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're live.
Welcome.
First story.
That would be mind-blowing.
Trending stories are taking over.
TSTO? Why does he get a bell for that?
Next story.
Everybody get down!
According to the sounds, I'm not doing so hot today.
TSTO.
TSTO thing.
TSTOMG.
TSTO.
That's crazy.
Story time. What is happening, people of the interwebs? It's time for another Trending Stories Taking Over show. I'm Todd Frazier, and
I'm Jake Frazier.
you are Jake Frazier. Jake, you are you're in a strange place. It looks like you're in a very strange.
What are you talking about?
Now you fit your environment very well. You moved to a doctor's. So Jake, did you get hired as a COVID nurse or something? What's going on here?
Absolutely not. I am staying away from you, my good sir.
Ah, yes, you're staying away from me, and you're in a doctor's office. So in case something happens, you're ready to go.
I just found all the drugs, Todd. You really need to be here. Oh, wait a minute. You can't.
No,
We can't be within 6 feet.
Yeah. Okay. So we should probably explain this to everybody right now. We are doing the show. We got Steve with us. Stevie, what's going on? And they both have masks on. Look at that. Hey, Scott. And yes, it does begin. It starts. You know what? We come in with a bang. There's no reason to hold off and wait. We just come in and go. So I'm here at the studio. And Jake and Steve are not, because we've got a COVID scare at our house. A scare like somebody's getting tested. That's all I'm gonna say.
You can't act like it's nothing anymore, Todd. You can't do it. It's come into your home. It's kidnapped you and your family.
Well,
you guys are like the whole Howie Mandel TikTok conspiracy. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, so you've mentioned it a few times, and I don't think we've actually gotten into it. So what is the conspiracy about Howie Mandel on TikTok?
There was this weird thing going around for a while where this girl that's on TikTok, I can't remember her name. I'm not going to plug her. She doesn't need it.
No, don't do that.
But no. But regardless, she came up with this whole conspiracy theory thing. Like, that's her whole channel. She just does conspiracy theories. And she came up with this whole thing about how Howie Mandel is like in his house, kept prisoner by some sort of armed intruder.
Oh, they're saying the same thing about Britney Spears too.
Yes, well, the Britney Spears one has some weight.
Yeah, well, have you seen some of those videos?
Crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff people are seeing with the Howie Mandel thing. Is they're like, this guy, he's acting weird. I don't know what's going on. He has all these hidden messages in his like videos and everything. And then eventually David Duchovny went over to Howie Mandel's house, and Howie came outside with like a big plastic thing over him, because he's a germaphobe. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And David Duchovny's like, "Everybody's worried about you. What's going on?" And he's like, "I'm 65 and using TikTok. I don't know what they expect. It's going to be weird." So I thought that was great.
That's fantastic. And like, did they send David Duchovny because they thought it was like X-Files related? Like, is that what they thought?
Well, David Duchovny posted on Howie Mandel's Twitter under a tweet that Howie said saying, "Hey, you're sending me and my wife some like scary things. Are you okay?" Like, he's like, "I think your phone's been hacked." So basically like that ended up creating, oh my gosh, if David Duchovny hasn't heard where Howie Mandel is, then he's for sure kidnapped. And then David Duchovny just like did a whole TikTok thing and was like, "I'm going to go to Howie's house." And he did. And the conspiracy is busted. Right.
Yeah.
But in the case of you and your family.
Yeah. So we've
true.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but so if what we have is COVID, which we don't know, but we're being safe. We're distancing. Steve's at his house. Jake's at his house Jake's at his hospital where he is a resident surgeon. So we're being
run this
careful.
hospital out of my house.
It's a very Dexter-like. Yeah, it's a Dexter-like situation. But so we're being safe. We're being cautious. But I will tell you this: if this is COVID, Like, why are we afraid of it? Because it's just a nuisance. Like,
you're afraid of it because you're telling me that you were crying like a little boy last night because you couldn't fall asleep.
that is not true. I was not crying like a little boy, but I did. Like, so what you're referring to, Jake, is what we talked about before the show. Is last night, the last 2 nights I've had trouble sleeping. I just couldn't go to sleep. And last night I'm laying in bed. It's like 1:30, and I told Jake, I said, I audibly said to myself, I just want to go to sleep.
That's the worst kind of pain. That's the worst kind of pain where literally the only release that you have is sleep.
I was just tired, and I wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was coming.
Did you play pickup basketball last night?
No, I didn't. Did you? You played pickup basketball.
Until the sun came up.
You did?
I watched that. I watched The Last Dance. I finished all of it, and I thought to myself, get me on the court and I'm trouble. Last week I messed around, got a triple-double. So it's very much the lyrics of the Ice Cube song.
Yeah.
Just my life at this point.
Right. All in all, it was a good day.
Things in that. It was a good day, but we're going to leave it there because there are words I cannot say in that song.
No. It is very much illegal on this program. Especially right now for guys that look like us to say things in Ice Cube songs. So just leave it there.
Instead, we'll be proud to, like, I don't know, bring you your Chick-fil-A.
That's right. That's right. Or help you out at Trader Joe's, which we're going to talk about here in a second.
Talk about that.
But, we're not just here to talk about the potential COVID scare that's happening at my house and the reason that we are not all together in the studio, which make this a very difficult show to do. No. There are stories that are trending, and you know what? We're going to talk about them. And in this first story, guys, I feel like this guy, or these 3 guys rather, they got a handout that I think a lot of us might like in this 2020 season. Because they got a handout. A hand up maybe is a better term for it.
These men were lost.
Well,
like literally the plot of the TV show Lost.
I feel like it was more like Castaway. But in this story, these 3 men rescued from a remote Pacific island after writing giant SOS in the sand. So these 3 guys, there's a helicopter right there, came and landed on the island. It's like Castaway. It's basically Castaway, and they got saved. Here in the article, the first line is, if only the folks on Gilligan's Island had thought of this, the show would have been a lot shorter. I don't think they had the technology as far as aircraft goes when Gilligan's Island was out.
But are they talking about the giant SOS? Because I think that's what they're referring to.
They're just talking about the SOS in the sand, but didn't they build fires and stuff on Gilligan's Island? And they didn't have like helicopters like this?
They built islands and SOS and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they did it all.
But that's what I'm saying. They also had visitors come by all the time. They had visitors come from all the time and show up and disappear. So I don't know how remote they really were.
Yeah, that show
That's insane.
It's bollocks.
It's literally a guy.
Yeah, I'm part of the Megxit too, Prince Jake.
Whoa, bollocks. We might get canceled for saying that. Bollocks.
Is that in one of the listed words? Oh, great.
Somebody give me a cortisol shot. No, but the thing that I don't understand about this whole story is SOS signs, like the massive ones that you just write in the sand. That's been in every Castaway style of movie. That is the trope.
Yeah, but it's just the odds of somebody flying over and seeing it. Like, that's the thing.
What kind of archipelago is this? Okay, we have which, by the way, that's my favorite word. A group of islands is an archipelago.
You're a fancy man.
Really funny thing that happened to me is that I was in class one time, and it was for my screenwriting course, and my teacher was like, come and get help from your students when you're stuck. She's like, no man is an island. And I was like, but a group of men is an archipelago. And she thought it was really funny. That's the end of my story.
That's a good story, Jack. I think that's solid.
This little archipelago. They were only there. Okay, it's Australian. So they're in Australian areas.
Yeah.
And the Australian Defense Departments who found them, and they were there for only 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. It's not a 3-hour tour. So right here in the article, the group was discovered on an uninhabited island known as Picolot Island. A Picolot, that's interesting. I'm sure it's probably like Pikelot or something weird, or Picalo. After they set sail,
Picalo sounds like an island,
right? That sounds much more like Picalo. We're gonna go with Picalo.
Picolot is my favorite island though, because then you go and it's like Big Lots, but just for all the abandoned toys.
I just thought it would have been full of coconuts.
Just fruit.
Just fruit.
An island of fruit.
Yeah.
Just Picolot.
All right, back to the story.
I'm just curious with all the spy satellites now and how they can read things so well, how anybody can get lost anymore and not be known by government.
You know what? That's a good point. But Elon Musk owns most of the satellites. So really, you have to be a friend of Elon Musk to be saved. I mean, realistically.
I'm looking up how long does it take satellite imaging to refresh.
Oh.
Well, they must have found them quick. They were probably Tesla owners.
They just needed a supercharger because their cars were empty. That's what they needed.
Steve, if you got stuck on an island anytime between 2017 and 2018, no, 2017 and 2019, you'd be pretty much screwed because they only update once every like 1 to 3 years.
Oh, yeah. So maybe it's the technology. I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always the technology.
It is. Maybe it's the fact that the primal technology is really where we need to go. We need to start reinventing the wheel. We need to start killing animals for food in any domestic place. Like even in Yorba Linda, we need to start hunting again.
Like hunting dogs?
We need
that's the only animals, maybe horses in Yorba Linda.
Dogs and horses. Coyotes poaching horses.
No. Jake's idea is no.
Cars.
This is Lord of the Flies, man.
Cars again.
Start driving.
We need to start driving cars again that we pick up and we stop by putting our feet out really hard and like we slow down by doing that.
So you're saying
to start doing all this.
The solution is to regress to days of the Flintstones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No. I don't think so.
It's like when you fly Spirit Airlines, right? Like that's how the plane lands.
Everyone puts their feet out.
Spirit Airlines.
They don't have enough money.
Flapping wings on Spirit.
Yeah. There's like when you're in the exit rows, they ask you have to be willing to open the exit door in case of emergency. Is that okay? And they're like, yes. And then they go, also, these wings are manual. You have to be willing to flap your wing.
Right.
Is that okay? And then they have to be like, yeah. So.
And the only in-flight movie that they show is Angels in the Outfield.
I love Nolan Ryan.
So these guys were on an island and they got, so I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, I think I've seen this island on Survivor before. Like, I feel like that helicopter, that may have Jeff Probst inside. If we zoom in, I don't know. No, I can't see. I have a feeling this is Survivor related because we don't have a season. I have a feeling this is Survivor related. What, Steve?
It's a conspiracy. Give Survivor notice. Yeah.
It's like
that's the producers of Survivor noticed that there were people stranded on an island. They go, get the cameras. We gotta
go. We have a natural Survivor season happening right in front of us, guys. Yeah. Or is it Tontine?
Awesome. Dude, honestly, if these guys are out there for 3 days, they're probably imagining they're going to be out there for months.
They're probably like, yeah. What do you think when we've all seen Castaway. Or at least we have seen Castaway. Like, you start to think you went crazy. Like, Tom Hanks went crazy. Now, in 3 days, I don't know if you have time to go crazy, but you start getting really nervous and worried. Almost like
3 days is enough to be like, this could be forever.
Yeah.
That's a weekend road trip. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the desert with people for 3 days and wished it would end.
I just want to know if when they were rescued, if they were social distancing and had their masks on.
That's a good question.
Absolutely not.
They're probably not. But
absolutely not.
The other thing that's really interesting, on this page, on one of the sponsored content, we've got a character from Lost in the bottom right corner.
What are you talking about?
Hugo is in the bottom right corner. Look at him right there. He is Hugo. So you can't see it, but on the ads that I'm looking at right here, it's Hugo from Lost, is in the bottom right.
Yeah.
I think this is a conspiracy theory. This is actually, they're filming a new Lost, and people got confused that it's a real situation. It's actually a movie.
Okay, hear me out right here. I'm
Okay.
going to make this go really fast.
Let's do it.
Same guy that played Hugo that's on the cover of the Hurley album from Weezer.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. He
Right.
was in Lost. He was great. He also plays a character called the Blitz in my favorite TV show of all time, How I Met Your Mother. And the whole idea behind the Blitz character is that the moment he leaves the room, the most incredible thing happens. And he misses it every time. And his catchphrase is, "Oh, man." So what if they were doing a Lost spinoff with that character? And it's the Blitz. And the moment he leaves the room and like Marshall and Lily and everybody are like having like their like Gouda and wine night, you know, he leaves the room, he comes back in, and all of a sudden it's just this island, right, with these three other people, and the first episode just ends with him going, "Oh man," and then that's the new series of Lost. It's just called Lost 2. Oh man.
Lost 2. Oh man. Lost what's his name in the show?
The Blitz.
Lost 2, The Blitz in Space or something like that.
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah. The Blitz in Space.
The Blitz
Attack
in-
of the Blitz.
Right, Attack of the Blitz. That'd be good.
Blitz, the movie, the musical.
Planet of the Blitz.
Planet of the Blitz.
So these guys, and I started thinking about getting stranded on a desert island and being like, they got airlifted out by this helicopter. They got saved because of an SOS. I kind of feel like that is exactly how I feel about 2020. I'd love to get airlifted out of this. And then Jake says, "Todd, I don't think airlifting is for you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm talking about like theoretically being airlifted out of this horrible year that just everything seems to be going wrong. And Jake's like, "Have you ever seen an airlift, like a literal airlift?" So he sent me this video, and I want to. I after watching this, I agree with him, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So this is a video of somebody actually being airlifted, and it does not. I do not feel good about it. So a local ABC news station sent their helicopters to, there was a hiker, and you're seeing a basket of the lady, 74-year-old woman. She's being lifted up in the air, and she's lifted up to the helicopter, and then she's starting to spin. And that, like, I get nauseous just by kind of turning around in a circle. This lady is spinning literally like a helicopter blade.
That's not.
And the comment here by the copter, "That's not good. Definitely passed out by now." It's going so fast. Oh my goodness. I can't.
Sounds like a new ride at Six Flags.
It sounds like
exactly that.
Exactly that. And she's still spinning.
There you go. Let him down.
There you go. Let them down. And they're flying away to get her to stop spinning. Oh my gosh. I never, ever, ever want to get airlifted because that is exactly what would happen, especially this year.
So when I was growing up, it wasn't uncommon for Todd and I to go to Disneyland together.
Yes, that's
right?
true.
And so my favorite ride at Disneyland was California Screamin' for so many years. And I remember there was one time I finally convinced you to go on this ride. And there's that little part where it goes upside down in the Mickey head, right?
Yes.
And that's anytime that happens, Todd is like, not okay.
I go from this face to like,
yeah. I just remember the look going from you just be like, "Oh," to you just like next to me until we get to the bottom of the like little loop, and then you came to and you're like, "Ah!" and you just started screaming immediately again. And I can only imagine that's exactly how you would be in an airlift.
yeah, no, I'd be gone.
Ah!
Like,
It's so much better though now because the Incredibles are there to take care of you.
that's right. I'd have Elastigirl to hold me together. I don't know. Circles don't do well with me. I always told the kids. I always told the kids when they were younger, they were like, "Daddy, why don't you do roller coasters?" Like even carousels give me a problem. And so what Tammy and I told him is like, "Well, Daddy's allergic to circles." Daddy's he sees. So then the kids thought it was funny. They just look at me and they do this. And I'd play along and I'd be like, "Oh, no, don't do it." But yeah,
My weakness.
It's like my kryptonite. Seriously. Yeah, Jen says she's going with us. We all need to be airlifted out of 2020. Nona says, yeah, what the lady will get brain damage. She was spinning fast.
100% probably had a stroke, Nona.
Yeah, she was 74.
Make it to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't have done it.
Nope.
74 years old.
Yeah. It's rough.
It's death by helicopter.
Death by
airlift.
Death by airlift.
But was COVID listed on the death certificate?
Yeah, I probably was. It probably was.
Even
those
though
dirty
that happened
doctors.
Last year, it happened like June of last year.
Hey Jake, in your hospital, do you guys mark people down for COVID even if they died from, I don't know, stabbing?
Yeah, and we actually mark down talented football players for having inabilities to go on roller coasters, per John Scott's comment.
All right. So Scott's, yeah. So wait, one of the hardest hitting linebackers I played with is afraid of going upside down. I'm not afraid of it, Scott. I'm not afraid.
Just grab it by the ankles and flip him upside down and watch it squirm. It's like putting a bird in a cage.
It just makes me sick. It's all. And when we would do drills where you have to like spin around in practice, if you remember that, well, you probably don't. I did not do very well in those drills.
Are you talking about when you kept going like forward 3 steps, back 3 steps, forward 3 steps, back 3 steps, or would you actually spin in a circle?
No, like spinning around. Like you start backwards and you have to spin around and then you get the ball and then whoever gets the ball. It's kind of like bull in the ring kind of thing.
Yeah. And then you get hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not do well in spin around things. What, Steve?
Anyway, Mr. Frazier, it looks like we have your test results back, and you do have COVID. But let's try something. We're trying this new crazy theory, this new type of medicine. I heard that going upside down makes you sick.
Yes.
Let me see your ankles. Let me see your ankles.
Can we get the COVID to drop out of him?
Yeah, just trying to shake it out of me.
Just shake it out. Grab him by the ankles and shake.
Yeah, and now you have seen a COVID telemedicine call, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it's like.
And as long as it's tagged as COVID, they get big bucks from the government.
That's right.
And guess what? I'm not a real doctor. I gotta go.
No! Oh man. Hey, but you know what? It's a crazy year, and it wouldn't surprise me if something like, Jake and I are big fans of The Walking Dead. We love that show.
Sure.
But it wouldn't surprise me if something else was living dead this year. And you know what? It happened. There are what they're calling zombie cicadas in West Virginia. There are zombie cicadas.
I want to put a motion forward to rename them cicadas.
So we got Island of Picolot, and we've got zombie cicadas. Is that
exactly?
Hey, we're
zombie
naming
cicadas on the Island of Picolot. Watch out!
Oh!
That's a children's book.
That is a children's book. Oh my goodness!
Like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
That's right. So there are zombie cicadas in West Virginia. Now, when it says zombie cicadas, there's a parasitic fungus that is infecting these guys, right? Mm-hmm. And it's taking over their brains.
Yeah, it's called the Masospora fungus. It contains similar hallucinogenic effects to psilocybin mushrooms.
This is crazy.
It's crazy, and these cicadas are just getting like nutso together. But the problem is like most drugs, it kills you from the inside out. So it's kind of like eating their body away and makes them brain dead, but they're still functioning until all of their vital organs just give.
Yeah, it says right here, the fungus will eventually kill the cicada or cicada as it slowly devours the insect. So it's eating it from the inside out. It's taking over his brain, which on The Walking Dead, it's eating you from the inside out.
From the inside out.
Right?
Takes over your brain.
Takes over your brain. So the only question is if
life imitating art.
Is it like what?
What'd you say?
Life imitating art.
That's right. It's life imitating art.
Life imitating art because truth is stranger than fiction.
Uh-oh. So the one question I have is instead of in West Virginia, if the zombie cicadas were in Wuhan, China, would we have an outbreak of it?
here's the deal. Let's see what happens. Because it's not uncommon I think it's, I'm going to get in trouble with a whole race of people. In Indian culture?
What? Why is that?
To eat crickets?
Oh no, that's
crickets.
I think in a lot of cultures eating crickets, but I don't think they eat cicadas or cicadas.
Yeah, well, either way, what if you did?
Right?
What if you ate one of these guys?
Ooh.
First of all, would you trip? That's my first question.
I think that's a definite yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we gotta fry some of these babies up. Number two. No, but my question is, could people be infected by this fungus? Could this happen? Like, and I know obviously not the same amount of a fungus that can do this to us. It's a cicada is going to do this to us,
right,
as human beings.
It's all about viral load, yes.
Right, exactly. It's like if I need to know how much tranquilizer I need to kill a horse, I can get that information. If I need to know how many cicadas that have this fungus in them, I need to eat in order for me to go into like some sort of like zombie ketosis. I need to get that number. I need a guy for that number.
Right. Yeah. It's it's like a scoreboard of like how much does it take.
You'll enjoy it as you're going, though.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because it's like, actually, have you guys heard about that? They're doing a bunch of this like cognitive research with people on their deathbeds, and they're giving them magic mushrooms, and it's like supposed to help their anxieties with dying. Because to me, that would be the most terrifying thing in the universe.
Yeah, I was like, it helps your anxiety because you're focused on the fact that there's like things coming through the wall, or there's like all kinds of weird stuff.
Or
that
the
sounds
wall
horrible.
Is the thing coming after you.
Yes, exactly.
Like when a house has intent to kill, you're in a Jordan Peele movie.
Yep, it's no bueno. It's no bueno. Nona has a question. Nona says, why you guys not in studio together? Well, Nona, you must not have been at the beginning of the show because there's a potential that there's COVID at my house. So therefore we're distancing. They both have their masks, right? Look at that. They've got their masks. They're ready to go just in case it comes through the show. But yeah, so
yep.
But yeah, that's why we're not here. But yeah, so zombie cicadas. It just seems like it's like 2020. Yeah, makes sense. Zombie cicadas. Why not? Why not?
Let's make a new Men in Black.
I mean, for real.
That would be cool.
For real. Why not? I mean, Will Smith could use the extra cash, I'm sure. Why not? Oh,
speaking of comments that offend a whole race.
Speaking of comments that have good transition, I like it.
Thanks.
The next story, if you're familiar with a certain store that sells fantastic grocery goods, and is very common in
dare say the best.
Dare say
the best. I like it more than Whole Foods. I like it more than Sprouts. I like it more than Sprouts.
So we are talking about Trader Joe's is in the news again because I don't know if you heard about this, but there are people that were calling for Trader Joe's to change their labeling, change their marketing because they're finding it offensive. They say, hey, Trader Joe's, you guys have stuff that's offensive. And I feel like just the whole like cancel movement has gotten like it's on steroids. Like it's everything. I'm looking at a Sony camera right now. They could probably say, you know what? Sony is racially motivated because they have an A on the camera and then therefore it's something, but this is crazy.
No. It would go to the point where they would say something like, there was a movie one time where Clint Eastwood was filmed on a Sony camera and Clint Eastwood is a white piece of trash and Clint Eastwood is the death to our modern idea of a diverse America, and therefore, Sony, you have been banned.
But you would have to connect it to John Wayne somehow. Like Clint Eastwood wouldn't be enough. Although
Clint Eastwood would not be Clint Eastwood if he had not watched John Wayne movies growing up.
There it is. That's the connection. So Trader Joe's, there was a petition that people put out to say, hey, Trader Joe's, because they have when they have certain foods that are like, you have Mexican food, you have Italian food, you have Chinese food, they'll change the wording on it to make it they say they're having fun with cultural appropriation. It's fun. It's like Trader Jose's for their chips and salsa, which is fantastic.
Clever.
Trader Ming's like for their China stuff. Like it's good. But here's the thing. Trader Joe's started with saying, you know what, we're going to look at this. And then they responded, and they're like, you know what? You people are stupid. Trader Joe's responds to backlash for their branding of ethnic foods and said they aren't changing a thing. The quote here at the bottom says, we thought then and still do that this naming of products could be fun and show appreciation for other cultures. Like, at what point do we just decide to say, you know what? This is enough. We're not being racially insensitive. Our motivation isn't to put people down. It's to highlight cultures and the food that they have that we all love. Who doesn't love a good Trader Jose's salsa? And
it was all done in fun.
I love it.
It was in fun.
Yeah, right. It was in fun. It had
okay. And here's the thing. I don't want to live in this America where when our family gardener comes over, my dad can't make the joke where he says, "Hey Jose, where's Hose B?" I really want to. I can't let that slide because that is the grassroots America we're founded off of. Hose B doesn't get offended because his name is Jose,
right? And
his dad's name is Jose,
right?
It makes sense. It's a funny joke. It's a funny joke, people.
Yes.
Even here, I want to know who it was that was like Dad in this room when they came in and they went, people are yelling about our names. What do we got to do? I can only imagine it is Clint Eastwood, and he's sitting back smoking a fat cigar, and he's literally just like, forget these guys. Trader Joe's the best salsa we have in these parts. It has to be somebody like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the person that's making the decision to say, you know what, take your petition and shove it has got to be a Clint Eastwood-esque character. So they've got like Trader Jose's beer, which is their like Corona style beer. They've got.
Don't say that.
Oh, you can't say Corona. Oh no. See,
don't say that.
It's their Mexican style beer. But you got.
You can't say that.
It's from Mexico. I can too.
You can't say that.
We've been canceled. So live on air, the TSTO show has been canceled for 2020 because of our insensitive comments. You know what? We're going to take the line of Trader Joe's here and say, not in my neighborhood. So here's the thing.
Happy with that.
Right. So here's the thing that I think is just so fascinating is people are just looking for something. They're just like, I'm going to find something. And at this point now it's like the reverse. I saw somebody posted something about, I'll explain this, what we've gotten to in this cancel culture world is it's just reverse racism. Like the Babylon Bee actually came out with a, I love the Babylon Bee. We've talked about the Babylon Bee before, and
we have to be careful with them though because they are satirical.
They are satirical, and people a lot of times don't get the joke. Like it's crazy.
Don't get the joke.
But there is a Trader Joe's related one that I thought is great, and I think it's a perfect way to segue. Like, well, okay, what are you looking for? And it's really pretty great because they put this in a way that says Trader Joe's. You're gonna have to do some things. So the Babylon Bee, this story right here, Trader Joe's agrees to discontinue racist food labels, replace with new Trader Don's brand, and the pictures are all pictures of Donald Trump wearing a sombrero, a Chinese hat, and a Mario Brothers hat with a mustache, and they're all Trader Don's.
No, go back to the old days.
So it says Trader Jose's, Trader Giotto's, and Trader Ming's labels will be replaced with the new label featuring President Trump in various ethnic outfits. The comment, and this is all satirical from the Babylon Bee, guys, just to make sure. This should please everybody, said a company representative. All the ethnic names will be gone, and we'll be using the generic white name Don in their place. We are respecting the heritage of the cultures of origin of all various food products while appealing to our main customers, white folks.
That's what it said.
Yeah.
And it says white folk.
Yeah, white folks.
The Babylon Bee needs to be burned to the ground.
The Babylon Bee is hilarious. Do you ever just scroll through there and be like, man, what are they talking about today? There's Trump stuff. There's Joe Biden stuff.
The Onion.
Well, it's like the Onion on the conservative side. It's great.
I know. But see, the Onion doesn't have. The Onion is the libertarian of the world. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to say that because the Onion is just humor where humor is good, and it's humor for humor's sake, and it's not worried about who it's going to talk to or who it's going to offend or what it's going to say that people aren't going to like. That's why I love the Onion. It's still true comedy.
Well, I think we should probably mix it. We should start mixing in some Onion stories, Jake. So bring some Onion stories next time for the next show.
Okay. I just want to know, do people understand that the Onion's thing is just the headlines? Like they do the fake story, but the headline is the most important thing?
Yeah, same thing with
a general I mean,
that's the same thing with Babylon Bee. It's the headline. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's all people read anymore.
There's this unspoken right. There's this unspoken rule amongst the writers at the Onion where it's like the least amount of words you have in your headline, the better a headline it is. So the goal is to always have a 2-word headline. If you can get in a 2-word headline, you're good. You're golden.
Like the best zombie cicadas.
Yes, the best Onion headline that I've ever seen. I laughed for probably 4 hours after I saw this. It was just boy gigantic, and it was this really big kid that was just being pushed around in a wheelchair.
Well, it's interesting because last night Chris talked about a Babylon Bee Nevada church avoids corona restrictions by installing slot machines.
Your dog really wants to be on the show, Steve.
Yes, they do.
What's your opinion, dog?
Yeah,
wait,
so
they're selling slot machines?
So the Babylon Bee is talking.
There's restrictions in Nevada for churches, but not for casinos.
Right.
So they're going to add slot machines to a church.
You're good. You're golden.
Best church ever.
So I just went to the Onion real quick. This is a great story, Jake. I think we need to pull stories from the Onion. Minneapolis announces plan to replace police officers with thousands of heavily armed social workers. That's the great stuff.
Can you imagine though?
I mean, come on. That's what they're talking about, the defund the police movement. We're gonna put money towards social issues and to impoverished communities by taking away the police. That's the most backwards thing I've ever heard of in my life. So I'm buzzing them.
There can be no justice without order.
Nope. And there's no order without Trader Don's sushi. It's true.
No, absolutely not. I will not go for an Asian Americanized version of Donald Trump on a package.
Dude, you got to see it. Okay. It's great. It's fantastic.
We're going to build a wall. I can't. There's no.
No, that's not we have to. I'm buzzing that just so that everybody knows that was a bad joke.
Down the wall. No. Something like that. I don't know.
So speaking of replacing things. Speaking of replacing things, we've had a lot of talk about TikTok here on the show. And TikTok is supposedly a very bad organization that's run by China that's going to be used to mind control our children to take over the world.
That is just coming out right now. It's the best one that we got. We don't have to worry about anything that China's doing. China loves your children. They want to keep them.
They do want to keep them. That's true. But I think I have a theory as to why.
Keep them or indoctrinate them?
Yeah, exactly.
Both and.
So I think I know why the antitrust cases were happening in Congress. Really, it was because Facebook has been planning on taking down TikTok. Because this story, Instagram now has a TikTok copycat called Reels. That is basically, it's TikTok and it's on Instagram. So I think that's why Zuckerberg was in front of Congress, because they're like, hey, we see what you're doing. We see what you're going to take over TikTok next, aren't you? You're going to take it over, which timing
Of
wise,
course he is. He did that to everybody.
exactly. He did it to Snapchat. He bought Instagram. Like that's the business part of it.
Right.
So, and Nona is very passionate about the TikTok ban subject. So, Nona, actually, have you seen anything about the Reels app yet, or the Reels plugin basically in Instagram? It's still in Instagram, but it's basically they launched it in America. It's been in other countries, and it comes out right when TikTok is potentially being banned in America. The government has said, hey, if we don't get a U.S. buyer for TikTok, then we're shutting it down. So they're waiting for Microsoft was in talks to buy it. So, and Jake, you had that story that I sent to you about Microsoft buying it. And as of right now, they've put it on pause. They were going to buy it so that they could keep it in America. However, now, with this coming out, that I think muddies the waters for someone like a Microsoft to spend a lot of money on TikTok. Now, there's still a bunch of users. There's a whole bunch of reasons you would still want to buy TikTok. However, this coming out, this is a little bit of a burr in the saddle of the TikTok people, Jake.
It is a little bit, but hey, let me tell you this: if there's one thing that I learned from the whole Vine thing, right, is that. No laughing.
I just saw that.
We can't laugh.
Okay.
We can't laugh about it right now.
Pulling it in.
We laugh about that later.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is that based on the whole Vine thing, what happened with Vine was that basically something with the NSA, I'm pretty sure, just decided that Vine was just going to go away. We're not going to have Vine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dedication still to Vine for what it had done, from my generation at least, to where even though they tried to move that platform over to Instagram with IGTV, and even though that was very different than Vine altogether.
I don't think IGTV was intended to be Vine.
It was around the same time.
IGTV? No, Stories. Yeah.
Stories with Snapchat.
Yes.
Stories, they were trying to get back at Snapchat.
And Snapchat kind of took over for Vine. Yeah, it was that whole.
Right. And then I'm pretty sure Facebook bought Vine. And then killed it.
Well, that's what they put into their video feature on Instagram, because Instagram was only pictures. So I think
right.
I think that's what they use. Regardless, they're just gobbling them up.
Regardless, and the point is that there's a dedication still. Like, there's a group of people that connect to this platform. TikTok is like, I never would have guessed that TikTok would have been this diverse. This like, it's literally like going on YouTube from like 2000.
The old days, yeah.
And just getting stuck in this crazy thing where you find the most amazing videos. Like, and I'm in the part now where you're like, all that comes up is like guitar videos and then like cooking videos, and it's all tailored to you. You basically get to choose what you see based on how you use the app. So like, I think that there's still going to be this massive dedication to TikTok. But at the same time, I think that, when it comes to Zuck, he's going to buy out anything he can just in order to be able to curb the market, right? He needs to be the guy that's like off the reservation when it comes to taking out competition.
Right. And honestly, it's basically, so I've played on it a little bit. I showed it's like, hey kids, there's a TikTok in Instagram now basically, and it's almost identical. There's some of the features that you have in TikToks that you don't have in Reels yet. I'm assuming it's just coming, but it's just a plug-in in Stories. Like, you can do live, you can do Stories, and you can do Reels. Now, I don't know if there's a function to watch Reels like you watch TikTok. I'm assuming there will be at some point, but it's a very clear, like, they are coming after TikTok 100% and just trying to get their users. I think it's also a lot of them saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to take all the users that are leaving because it's gone. Like, they need something to fill that gap. I don't think they'll be able to make it because TikTok is its own animal. It's its own animal, 100%.
TikTok is its own animal, and basically one of the things that I want to see is I want to see Facebook fail at this.
Ooh.
Because of the fact that, like, just because of the fact that they've been able to take out everything else.
Not
they've been
YouTube.
able to curb the market as much as they want to, and I will not let it happen. I will fight for my right to TikTok.
You'll sign a petition that says I want TikTok to stay.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the Trader Joe's thing real quick. That whole thing came over a petition from a high schooler.
Yes.
And
Right.
did you see what the petition said?
I did see what the petition. I don't remember what it said, but I looked at it.
It said something crazy. Oh.
Yeah, but it was a high schooler that was like, I want to be part of the movement.
A narrative of exoticism that perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Exoticism, I figured that was a good thing. You see a toucan, you're excited.
It's exotic.
It's exotic. But yeah, so basically right here, Instagram is saying we're going big with entertainment and making the Explore page on Instagram the permanent place for you to go to lean back, relax, and be inspired every day. It's our hope that this will format what we have. It's our hope that with this format, we will have a new chapter of entertainment on Instagram. It's not a new chapter of entertainment on Instagram. It's someone else's genius idea that you're now like ripping from them because you're the big kid. It's literally lunch money stuff. It's who's going to give me the lunch money, who's going to pay for my lunch, right? Who's going to pay for my Trader Don's, I need to have some Kung Pao, but I can't have my Kung Pao unless I pay for my Kung Pao, right?
So
TikTok is Kung Pao.
I'm looking at it. So you go to the Explore page and that's where it is. That's where Reels is. I did not realize that. And it's just like you swipe up. It's the same thing. Swipe up.
Same thing.
There it is.
Same thing.
It's TikTok.
It's TikTok.
It's TikTok, man.
It's literally TikTok.
It's literally TikTok.
Too. The crazy thing about TikTok too is the algorithm is beyond Instagram's. It like based on how long you watch every video, right? Yada yada yada, normal stuff. But literally, you have to tailor your TikTok to yourself within the first 3 days. You have to make your decision whether or not you like the video within the first 2 seconds of seeing it. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Well, and the interesting thing that I think is dangerous about how that stuff works, which is how a lot of the technology, especially for younger people, is coming out, is it's so instant. You don't have time to actually see, like, you don't have time to read the body of the article. You just have time for the headline, right? So,
newsflash, Todd. That's the problem with all social.
I think that's true, but it's training us. It's training us to be like, it's just the first 2 seconds that's important. Which, I mean, we're human. We react in certain ways, but there's something to be said for depth that I think we're losing a lot by all of the way that these things are coming out. However, it's working on that dopamine cycle in our head that's addicting us to say, "Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this."
Right,
so,
and it really can skew what we view as important. And since we don't, as people have deaths, yeah, we do. COVID,
we do like a lot of that. That's
us. As people, we don't like have depth as much as we did anymore. But the people that are like on top of this whole social media game, they like just look around and they go, what are the rappers doing? What are the cool guys doing? What am I going to do? And a lot of times, like I say on the show, guns are involved.
They are involved.
You know what I mean?
You are
speaking
correct.
Of depth.
Speaking of depth, or rather lack of depth. We've got a story about our good friend Jake Paul. We've talked about Jake on the show before, but Jake Paul, not Jake Frazier. Different Jake.
Why would I boo myself?
I know. No, I wasn't talking about you booing. That was delayed in what I was saying.
No. They're saying boo earns.
Boo earns. That's right, Mr. Burns. So Jake Paul, his house in Calabasas was raided by the FBI, tied to disturbance at a shopping mall. So the FBI they brought SWAT team members to his house on Wednesday. There were guns right here. The FBI is executing a federal search warrant at a residence in Calabasas in connection with an ongoing investigation. The affidavit in support of the search warrant has been sealed by a judge, and I am therefore prohibited from commenting as to the nature of the investigation. No arrests are planned, an FBI representative said in statement. Now, the really funny thing about this thing is it's Jake Paul's house, and being a YouTuber and being in the spotlight and having so many fans, I saw pictures all over the internet of his backyard with looked like high-power rifle leaned up against a jacuzzi. So Like, it's
Yeah.
what are they doing with high-powered rifles and a jacuzzi? That just sounds like a bad idea.
Hey, man, sometimes you can't find the bottle opener.
So Jake Paul has.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
He's just in a hot tub. There's like a couple people around. It's like, oh, we can't open our Modelo's because we can't drink Corona right now. And he's like, I got you, bro. And then he just points the gun in it.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I was thinking more of they were trying to come up because they've run out of ideas, like for videos, and like, what could we do next? Let's
shoot myself in a jacuzzi.
That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Oh, that's a
I
bad
thought they
idea.
were more doing what
video
Jake wanted
ever.
to do. Thought they were doing what Jake wanted to do and just get rid of all the dogs and the coyotes and.
Oh, they were just hunting. They were going back to the Flintstone days, Steve. I think that's probably accurate. That's just what they were doing.
That's good. I'm for them. Jake Paul's a buddy of mine.
Jake, except for he's not. So Jake Paul.
Wait, we got a little squadron. Yeah, Jake and Jake. We got a new TV show coming out on Showtime.
Yeah, it would definitely be a Showtime show now.
It would be on Showtime.
Yeah, or maybe a Netflix original. But okay, so
or like Freeform.
So the Jake Paul came out and he tweeted and he said, to be absolutely clear, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism. For context, we spent the day doing our part to peacefully protest one of the most horrific injustices our country has ever seen, which led to us being tear gassed for filming the events and brutality that were unfolding in Arizona. We were gassed and forced to keep moving on foot. We filmed everything we saw in an effort to share our experience and bring more attention to the anger felt in every neighborhood we traveled through. We were strictly documenting, not engaging. I do not condone violence, looting, or breaking the law. However, I understand the anger and frustration that led to the destruction we witnessed, and while it's not the, and then it cuts off because that's a tweet. So, what were you going to say?
We've seen this man just beat the snot out of other people online.
Yeah,
and he's saying that I don't stand for violence.
He
Who's
has
his
to
press secretary.
No, he has to say that. Like, he has to come out and say this because of what's happening.
Everybody feel fuzzy inside.
Yeah, and he was going to be the next Trader Joe's spokesperson. So he's got to keep it clean.
So his whole thing was like, let's go to a mall, me and 20 of my closest friends, and let's have AKs and just say that we're peaceful protesting.
No, they didn't. So back up. The story about Jake going to a protest thing, they went to Arizona to see it. They didn't take weapons, but there were rumors of what happened there, and then they investigated Jake Paul because he documented it, and then he was sharing it, I guess, on his channel or something like that.
Interesting.
So there's just a connection.
All I had seen from this story before the episode was that there was suspicion that Jake Paul had many guns, let
alone to necessitate an entire rack.
A whole gun rack, right? But like he had been showing them on his social media. Like he had been just like, yo, check out my Glock, like all that crazy stuff, right?
Right.
There's just a YouTube video. This is kind of a sidebar. There's this YouTube video of this guy just driving around the streets of Chicago holding a gun up. He's like filming the whole thing, and he just holds a gun up and he calls it checking people's peace. And he does it to see if somebody in the car next to them is going to pull out their gun and show it to them. And the whole thing, if he sees a gun, he goes, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank. It's like, how is that a prank? It's not a funny prank.
And how do you know that somebody's not just going to pull it out and cap one off and you like that's dumb.
Exactly. That's a funny prank.
No, it's not. It's not a funny prank. Oh man, but yeah,
no, I don't get it. It's not a prank, but like anyway, it's this cool thing to get like clout or whatever by showing your gun online.
Yeah,
and like now because of that, obviously the NRA is just going to be like, oh, Jake Paul has like 40 assault rifles. Let's go to his house while he's out of town. Like,
right.
That just makes sense.
Right. Yeah, and it's
you go where the robbers at.
Well, and yeah, you go where the smoke is coming from, basically, and you say, hey, what's going on? So they know they was connected.
And it's Jake Paul's garage.
And it's in Jake Paul's garage is where the smoke is coming from. Absolutely. But it's just
called the Armory.
Yeah, Jake Paul's armory.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out.
Like
Yeah.
the big problem is he had guns that were illegal to have in California. He had guns that were not California legal, and that's a problem.
Like an Uzi?
Yeah, I think it was more like an AR-15 that has the adjusted clip or something where you can bigger mag. I don't know. I'm not paying attention a lot to it. I just know that Jake Paul's in trouble. He got busted because that's just what Jake Paul does.
I have a friend that's in the Marine Corps, and I will not say names just for the sake of the fact that I know that he has this weapon. But he has a gun, right? Like he's a Marine, right? And so like you do, and so he has an assault rifle, and he was like showing it to me when I went over to his house one time, and he said the only thing that makes this gun illegal in the state of California is the back stock, and he can take that off.
Is it a bump stock?
Yeah, I guess. But like all he has to do is take that stock off, and that gun is just good to be in California. Yeah.
Very simple.
So the lesson is if you get raided, make sure they're taken apart before the raid comes in.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
Exactly. Hey, Steve, how about this idea? No ARs.
Yeah.
What?
No ARs at all, like ever?
I mean, the military.
What if you're against the military?
We're not gonna get into this whole like mountain men conversation.
Yeah,
because I'm for that. Like, guys, believe me, I'm the guy that's on the show that's like, clean your guns, keep them at home,
right?
Stay safe, right? All I'm saying is that we don't need a bunch of ARs. You could do just as much damage at close range with a shotgun.
Well, and there's a whole argument about potentially, like, there's no need for them right now, but there could be potentially.
What's the need?
No, there's no need for them right now. I'm saying, like,
what is the need?
If a foreign government were to come in or a foreign military were to come in and we had to defend from terrorist actions, I could see that needing.
I'm in.
You're right. Then you need it.
Or what about
that's
the
why
domestic government that's taking over our society?
Well, but the domestic government is fighting amongst itself. Like that's a whole thing.
Civil War, the movie, the musical too. That's what we gotta do. It's just we're fighting on a battlefield, killing my comrades across the street. Knew him as a neighbor, had a barbecue, but now he's dead. That's our song.
Is that the fight of the Republic of 2020? If only
and my character will talk like John F. Kennedy the whole time.
And we're gonna have airlifts for everyone. But if you're afraid of circles, I'm gonna say don't get airlifted. Don't get in the casket. I mean the basket. Don't get in the basket because it would be very, very bad for you if you don't like circles.
Oh well, somebody just let the donkey out of the casket.
The basket becomes a task.
The basket becomes a casket. It's true. Hey, you know what, guys? What, Jake?
I was just gonna say in Civil War, the movie, the musical too. Every character would be some president, so it'd be like Hamilton, but it'd just be like a bunch of murder.
Yes, but all the characters would be played by animals. Like so, it's like the Lion King meets Hamilton meets the Civil War. That'd be great.
Cats.
So Jake, I hear a script coming about.
Guys, I'm going to be locking myself in. Oh, wait, hang on. Guys, I'm going to be locking myself in my room for the next 24 hours straight until I have a first draft. It'll blow your mind.
Yep. I think that's
wait and see.
Absolutely. Oh, Greg's here. Greg, hey, you just joined from work. I won't tell anyone. It's our secret. But Greg,
you're not allowed.
We made it through all the stories. The stories are done.
Greg, you joined from work not because it was easy, but because it was hard.
Jake, Steve, we made it through the show, and we have bad news, and we didn't even get into it, but we're not going to have a show next week. At this point, that's a normal show, but...
No, that's not true.
I know. Okay, let me get there. So if you're watching this and you're like, I would like to see a show next week of just Jake talking for like 30 minutes to an hour, would that be something you'd be interested in? Because I won't be here. But Jake said, hey, I'll get in front of the camera and I'll talk for a while. So comment say yes to Jake having his own show next week, maybe. So
Say yes to me.
but just don't say no. Say just
Say yes
wait,
to-
just wait, because
Say yes.
I'm afraid of what would happen. We maybe have to put it like on a silent channel. Like I don't
It
know.
might have to have a parental advisory sticker.
See, Greg's hesitant. Greg says, I don't see.
No, Greg
Yeah.
knows. Greg
Nope.
knows it's gonna be happy times. I'll see y'all next Thursday at noon because I'm not waking up at 9. It's just me.
All right, guys, this has been Trending Stories taking over. I'm Todd Frazier,
I'm Jake Frazier.
and we got Steve Freeman.
And I'm here, you.
Yeah, that's right. They can all hear us. But hey, you know what? Daniel, too fun. Always good to see you, buddy. You guys be good, and we will see you. Well, maybe Jake will see you next week. We'll have
And
to
I'm
wait and
going
see.
to tell your mom so many things
I'm
next week.
gonna tell your mom so much.
So much.
Later, everybody.
Peace.